Okay, what you got in front of you is approximately 3 months worth of work. I started on October 11th. Today is the 1st. So, you're what, 10 days shy of 3 months. So, going back to work tomorrow. Party's over. First of the year, vacation's over. Go back to a short week, and then we just keep moving on. So it's downhill from here. But what you see in front of you is basically what I've done since we've gone on strike, to going back to work, to going on vacation, to going back to work. So, as of today, I put the plane all back together, so what you see is what you got at this time. The only thing I really have left to do is to do that front cowling. I still have not finished the front cowling. The front cowling is all taped together, just to give you an idea of the whole plane as a whole. Ailerons are all cut out and complete. I'm in the process of covering wings now. Cockpit saddle is basically done. It's not in though. That's just put on there. Forward cockpit cover is just thrown on there. Did I just kind of mess up your view? See, that just kind of neatly slapped on there, and that just neatly slapped on there. That's going to be in the process of covering. Let me give you a backward shot. I'm showing all this now because this is going to be the last shot you're going to get of this plane prior to me covering it. So I'm going to go ahead. This will be the last time you're going to see all the wood, everything. So this is it, man. This is it. So all rigs are complete. Tails complete. Ailerons complete. Basic conveys up front are complete. Outboard struts complete. All rigs are complete. Cabanes are not quite complete. I still have some work to do on that, but I still have to cover the fuselage too. So I not only have to cover the fuselage, I have to cover the wings. And then when I get to the point of an engine, I'm not sure when I'll do the front cowling. I'll make that decision when I come to the engine, of actually mounting the engine, and by that time hopefully I'll have one. If not, just take the engine off the Trainer 60. Here's your front view. Not a bad looking airplane. You can get a zoom in on the front there, the cabanes. See the cabanes and all that ain't done. You can see all the tape on the front engine cowling. Wheel pants on. I still haven't done any doping on that. That's it, man. This airplane is so damn close to being done. That's it. That's what you got from the very start of me starting this off. October 11th, we were already out on strike. Going back to work tomorrow. I can't even count any days, but that's just 10 days shy of 90. So what do you consider that? Is that 80 days? Somewhere around 80 days of what you got in front of you. I don't know what else to say. That's it, man. Let's see if we can't give you a couple more shots before we actually kill this. A bit closer, cleaner shot. You can see if we zoom down the fuselage. can see the fuselage is not covered yet. I don't have the rigs going out to the tail yet. They're complete, I just don't have them rigged. Outboard struts are in. Let me shut off the camera. Okay, outboard struts. Notice I don't have the upper bracket. See how I do have the lower. See if the camera will focus on it, which it won't. So we'll adjust ourselves. There you go, if you can see the screw and the brass strap. The bottom one is in the wing complete. Upper one is not. You can see the upper strap is on the strut itself. The ailerons are ready on the top wing. The only thing I really got left to do is just get these straps for the struts and the wings. Dinner is ready downstairs, so Wanda's probably getting pissed. Let me get one shot of the cabines. That's the basic cabine. I still have to do some fairing in to the fuselage. They're not installed yet. I want to cover the fuselage and get a couple of dopes on the fuselage as a whole before I actually install the cabines. That way I don't have to worry about it underneath. So that's your basic aerodynamic cabine setup. There's your cockpit cover, not installed. Cockpit saddle setup, not installed. And that's it as a whole, man. Notice that the canopy is still not done. Engine cowling. That's it, man. It's so damn close to being done, it's unreal. I don't know how many times I've said that, but as a whole, if you look at that model, it's basically done. And I can hear the plates crackling, so dinner's ready. Alright, here we are 5 days later, again. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but finally got my voice back. Lost my voice for a day or so. Got a nasty chest cold this year. We're going to start covering the wing, and what you got in front of you right now is the bottom wing completely coated with Stix-It, the adhesive that I'm going to use to do this. Everything's done. I still haven't done my I don't know what I was about to say there. It's ready. I'm ready to start rigging the ailerons and get them ready for fabric hinges. Oh, nasty cold, man. Okay, if I can get you in here, that is the outboard strut, and you can see I stuffed all that with rolled up masking tape when I covered it. Before I covered it with the Stix-It, I completely went around and masked off everything I felt as though I needed to be masked off, so I didn't get any glue in them. And I certainly didn't want to get any kind of glue in my outboard strut locations, because then my struts won't fit in there anymore, you know what I mean? So mask off all those, all of the inner, the brass, all of the inner servo situations, front dowels, so they wouldn't get any thicker and wouldn't fit in their holes anymore. Plugged up holes. You get the general idea anyway. Also, bell cranks. I did throw some masking tape over those areas just to protect them of the glue and that. But now that I got the glue is on there, now I can take all this off. You don't want to leave that in there. You're going to take the chance of possibly getting dope that's going to drip through the fabric. But if you're careful and remember what you're doing, you should do all right. But don't leave the masking tape in there, because as it loosens up, it's going to jam up in your controls, and then you might just plain out lose it altogether. So I'm going to start covering this thing with fabric. So it's time to heat up the iron, whip out the fabric, and I'll show you after. I'm going to do the bottom side first. So first I got to mock up my ailerons, lay them up on top, like I did with the elevator, if you remember that. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my bottom on first. You go. Bottom wing, bottom of the bottom wing is covered. And as you can see, ailerons are hinged in. So all I got to do now is I got to go around and see the aileron is fully hinged. Bottom side looks pretty clean. First time I've tried an aileron. Now I got to go around and do some stick-sit around the bottom side, back over the top of the fabric. So when I go ahead and do the upper portion of the wing, the upper fabric, it's going to fold down and overlap the bottom. So I need to put me a strip of stick-sit around any area that I feel as though that I'm going to overlap, so the upper fabric has something to stick to. And then we'll go ahead and cover the top of the wing. Well over a month later, I really haven't done much to this wing. The last time I've touched it was about the last time you've seen it. The upper skin is on. You can see all the overlapping material. Now what I got to do is flip this thing upside down and put a coat of stick-sit around the bottom so I can overlap it, which I've already got done. I need to go all the way around so you got something to stick to. And now I'm going to go ahead and iron on and stretch and iron on this fabric. So now my seam is on the bottom side. Try and do it as clean as possible, and try not to lose any more travel in my ailerons. Again, this is the bottom wing. This is the bottom side you're looking at now. I did run into a little bit of shrinkage problem, which is going to... Now I got to do a little bit of more rework on this skin. I'll show you why. Good shot of this. See if it gives you a backlight. No, automatic won't give you a backlight. But you can see right there, it's kind of dark in this room today for some reason. You look right through here. When I was covering the aileron, and I did the cut, I really wasn't paying attention. I just kind of like start getting arrogant and la la la, and next thing you know, all hell's breaking loose. So my outboard edges on my aileron shrunk on me. I should have just tacked them down, but the iron heated it up enough to shrink it. So now I'm going to have to try and cover that up, which means now I'm going to have to cap off my ailerons. But maybe this was supposed to happen this way. I don't know. We're going to find out. Now I'm going to flip this thing over. The iron's hot. I'm going to tack this skin down to the bottom side of this wing, trim all this excess off, and then do a little bit of fine tuning before I start prepping it for dope. So we're going to try and get this done today. I'm not quite sure if we will or not. It's been kind of lazy since we've been back to work. It was really hard to go back to work after 69 days. I mean, it was different. So this is why you're seeing me a month later, because I really haven't been motivated enough to come up here and finish this. I still have to cover the upper wing and the fuselage, so I still got a little ways to go, covering wise anyway. Here we go. Okay, here I am with the bottom wing is fully skinned. Top and bottom it is skinned. There's a little bit of fine tuning I still need to do, like fix the aileron shrinkage and all that, but the main work of skinning the wing is actually done. This is what I consider done. Now all I got to do is just fine tune it and get it ready for doping and that. But what you're about to see is going to be another major decision that I was wondering if I was going to have to make at one time or the other. These ailerons are complete. I fully skinned these ailerons at the same time that I skinned the wing. You can see I have a little bit of a wrinkle problem here, which doesn't look too pretty. I'll never get rid of that. That will never go away. Plus, the way that the aileron is hanging on here, it's not quite true. When I flush the outboard end of the wing, I get a mismatch on the inboard end of the wing. I did that on my Bonanza. That was a major, major thing for me on the Bonanza, and I'm slowly understanding why it happens that way when you cut ailerons out of the wing and all that kind of good shit. You got to have a real damn good alignment. Another reason I'm about to make this decision is I'll never get rid of this either. This is a bearing surface, and you can see this aileron is not completely stable. I mean, it's not like it's not stiff. It's not like when I use this aileron, it's going to be straight up, straight down reaction. I'm also going to have the flex of the aileron on the hinge point, and it's going to be shifting back and forth, and that's going to be one hell of a load if I go from a hard right spin to a hard left spin, and I'm just going to end up, it isn't going to be a clean turn. It's going to end up tearing up on the aileron. It's not going to be a good situation. So what I'm about to do is blow off the fact of closing off this gap this way. I'm going to do it like I did on the rudder. I'm going to cut these ailerons out of here now that I know what I got. I'm going to cut these back out of here. I'm going to finish skinning the wing just like I normally would. I'm going to finish the aileron separately, and then I'm going to go ahead and hinge it in there so it's fully true all the way in there. I'm going to, just like I did the rudder, I'm going to hinge that in there, make sure I got all of the travel I want, because I still don't, I think I got robbed some of my travel when I did this. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover this back up with some zigzag hinging. I guess I have to show you that. That would be it's going to be a diamond cut. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a cap over. I'm going to cap over the top of that gap, but I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and adhere it to both sides. I'm still not quite certain about that. If I don't, I think I'll lose the effect anyway. So anyway, I'm going to cut the ailerons out. I don't like what I got. This isn't pretty at all, and I just don't like it. So I'm going to move on. Just thought maybe you'd want to see me cut one of these ailerons out, because some of these decisions are major decisions, and sometimes you just got to have the balls enough to do it. So all you're going to do is just go right along here. You're going to cut this baby right on out of here. Because we're going to dope this. We're going to close this off with dope. It really isn't going to make a bit of difference anyway what it looks like, because it's going to be covered with dope. There you go. Simple as that. Just cut it the hell out of there. See how clean this is going to be now? I can clean this up, get rid of that wrinkle that I had, make both of them look pretty, and then reattach them to each other with hinges. So now I'm pivoting on a sturdy point that I can handle. But one problem that I created for myself is I didn't beef up any areas in the wings to accept ailerons, because I expected to use fabric. So things might get to be a little nasty here. I might end up dissecting this wing a little bit to insert some blocks in here so I can go ahead and put hinges in here. So that's what you get for depending on one thing and it doesn't work out. Now, now it's going to be a real drag to end up cutting this skin back open in order to get blocks behind this wing. That's going to be a real bummer. The more I think about it, it makes me sick. Top wing isn't covered yet, so I only have to dissect this lower wing, and if I dissect the bottom of it, you're not going to see a lot of the mess because it'll be the lowest wing facing downward. You really won't see it from above. And then I can go ahead and set up the upper wing to accept ailerons and aileron hinges and all that. So I only got to do this to 2 hinges. And it's kind of bumming me out, but hey, life goes on. Alright, here we are the following day again, coming up with the option of how I'm going to hinge this. And through the years of being in this hobby, I've changed my attitude towards a lot of the things over time and experience. When I first started, I fell in love with these baby little hinges. They look like they were just the neatest thing in the world. They got a pin in them, and they act just like a hinge. I mean, it was just slick, and I fell in love with them, and I was going to put them on everything. But I've still yet to put one on an airplane without gluing it together. I mean, the pin, once you glue that area together, it no longer becomes a swiveling situation. Now it's completely solid, and it's garbage in the first place. So I got a whole bunch of these, and I don't use them because I don't like them. All they did was give me bad experiences. Maybe they'll work on the boats when maybe I possibly get into building that tugboat. Then your second option, this is the one that I've used the most. This is pretty easy to install. It's just a solid piece of plastic, and it bends in the middle. You bend it, and now you got yourself a plastic hinge. But then again, the glue gets to it, and it starts screwing it all up, and then all hell breaks loose. But I've used that one a lot, and that's a pretty good one. This one here is a new idea that Dubrow came up with. It's hinge material that you can get in sheets. It's the neatest thing, I think, that I've seen come on the market lately, due to the fact that it's covered, it's a plastic, so it's very strong, has real good tension abilities. I mean, really hard to tear. You can hear it. It's a fairly good plastic. It's not really a plastic, it's a... What's a type of plastic anyway? Well, anyway, it's covered in this fabric that when you get CA glue on it, it acts like a wick, and it'll draw itself all the way to the end of the hinge. So once you get it in there and you glue it, you know that you're getting a lot of glue and a lot of... It's just a really neat item. The glue really does spread out and really adheres to this hinge. So this hinge is very hard to get back out, but it's not that hard to repair. Not like the rest of them. Once you install one of these, they're kind of hard to get back out. As for these thin little things, you can just put one hinge on top of another and you wouldn't even see it. You can't do that with these because these are too thick. So anyway, this is what I use to hinge with anymore. It's a plastic material that's covered in a wick type material. It draws the glue in, and that's what I'm going to do. I've marked my hinge points. So now what you're going to see is something that I didn't want to do because this wing is covered. It's finished. I mean, all I had to do was start doping it, and I was in the money, honey. But like now I have to install 3 hinges per aileron on this wing. So I'm going to have to do some dissection in my wing. That's a bummer. I'm going to end up cutting a slot here, and a slot here to get inside this wing. Install myself some blocks in there to accept my hinges because I have nothing in there to glue into. If I put my hinge through there right now, it'd be held by nothing. There's nothing inside there for me to hinge to. So now I'm going to have to do some dissecting in that. And to show you what I mean, I guess, is here's the upper wing. I haven't got it covered yet, and what I'm going to end up doing is getting back inside the wing. And if you can get it real, yeah, you got a pretty good view there. See, this is hollow in here. See, I have nothing in there. So what I'm going to have to do now when I go to hit I'm going to open this wing up and I'm going to install some blocks in there. So now when I put my hinge through, I'm actually glued to something. I should have did that in the first place, but you learn from your experiences, I guess. At least I only got to do this to one wing, so it shouldn't be no big deal. And it's my lowest wing. You're not really going to see it. Plane is still going to be pretty, so here we go.